720. Once again, Think Tank 720 is a think tank that puts all organizations together underneath one umbrella so that we can all work together and then use our skills and tools. I already know that some of you have already started connecting and networking together, which is awesome. And so today I just want to call someone who deals with skills and development. His name is Ade. This is the Ade that's supposed to be next, and it's awesome. It's so awesome that today, as Ade's come, there's a young lady here that had a problem with her son, which Ade will be taking on. So these are the tools that Think Tank 720 deals with, using our own tools and developing our own communities with our own skills. So it's imperative that whatever you hear here today, that you take it back to your own communities and share it with your own communities. Once again, thank you for coming. So I invite Ade to come and tell us the developments of skills. Thank you.
So thank you, Carolyn. Thank you for that invite, and thank you again for all of you for being here and having me. As Carolyn has kind of touched on, Ade Adebowale, and my organisation is called Skills Development Training, and we aim, as the name implies, to help people through development of their skills and training to develop and grow themselves. Now, it probably started out with 4 of us as directors of this organisation, 4 guys who have known each other for about 20 plus years, which was one of our key criteria when we thought about setting up and launching. And when we think about a lot of the conversations many of us in this room probably have anecdotally amongst ourselves, what do we do for self? How do we work together? How do we develop? How do we grow? How do we improve our own community? And our young people is almost always the focus of that conversation, because we always want a better future, and you always have to start with the young. As we say, it starts from home, and many of us here are from African descent. We appreciate the village mentality and that approach, that it takes more than one person to raise those children. And if we want a stronger and better future for ourselves in what is technically a foreign land for us, we have to do a lot of that work itself indoors. So we went with a charity, as we say again, charity begins at home. So we went for that model of our business rather than any other type of social enterprise. We went with a charity because we wanted to attract funding, we wanted to attract skills as well that will help develop others. So a little bit of a history about how we set up. There's, as I said, there's 4 of us in the organisation as trustees. One of us was getting married, and there was about 8 groomsmen of his closest friends. And in about a year's worth of planning, we really saw what young men could actually do when they have a purpose or a goal. And he was very visionary in the way he thought about it, and he said, you guys are my groomsmen, here's a group chat. You've got 1 year to plan what we've got to do, sort out my stag, whatever it has to be. You guys go off and do that. Amongst ourselves, we all identified who's who. You know, in every group, you've always got the different characters. You be the financier because you work in banking. You'll be the party planner because you're good at turning up. You'll do this, you will do that, you will do that. And in about a year's time, we kind of set up things such as how much you have to pay towards the holiday and the event. And it was just that it was so well planned, and it worked out so beautifully that the groom didn't have to pay for anything because we covered all of that. But it didn't even feel like an additional effort because we planned it so well off the back of the wedding. And after that, we didn't want to just shut down the group. Now, we're the same old friends that meet up all the time, but usually it's meeting up to do what young men do. Go out for drinks, food, party, whatever. But there's never any sort of benefit that comes off the back of that other than just being friends. And that's the same for probably most people. And we thought the way that worked to a purpose, and we felt it felt like we achieved something so brilliant. So how can we keep something like this going? And one of us already had a business set up, but it wasn't doing anything. It was just set up on paper on HMRC. And we thought, what could we do? So he took 4 of the closest out of that 8 groomsmen that have known each other for 20 plus years, that were all currently working at the time, as 2 of the key criteria. And we said, what are we going to do? We brainstormed some ideas. We carried on doing the money saving thing because, as you know, we all talk about group economics, and it was almost like the partner system. We've already proven that we can put this money together. And within the space of a year, we'd saved God knows how much. And we said, okay, we can't now just have money sitting down in a bank doing nothing or gaining basic interest. How do we flip that? How do we turn it over into something else? So we started looking at different little investments, again playing with the ideas of different ideas of or multiple streams of income. Then we thought, no, we're moving at a very fast rate. What can we do that has a legacy? Because many of us are fathers and so forth. What could we do to leave something behind for these young people? So that's when we looked at it as from a business, turning it into a charity. Now, what will be our charity's purpose? So as you know, when you set up a business, you have to have your mission statement, you have to have your values, you have to have all of that. And we really had to kind of condense it and come down to a few key things. And we always knew we were passionate about youth. And we're all passionate about communities, and we're all passionate about places. So as much as I don't really like the term BAME, let's be real, that's what it is that we're focusing on, particularly the black or those of African heritage. So that was where our key and focus started with. So as we started writing up and looking into bidding, as I said, we're a charity, so we're trying to attract funding and looking at how we're going to deliver different things. We started looking at what kind of programs are running out there that we can get involved in. So we started putting our bids out there and so forth to see what kind of funding we can attract and what the needs are. So we started engaging with the community we are from. So we're largely based in North and East London, although some of us are now in South London as well, and we've worked all over London. So we've worked in that industry. I myself came from banking and then went into employability. Another person also same with employability, Kwame, who was here earlier, who's had to shoot off, he's in property. Another one's in education, working with special needs. So when we grouped all those backgrounds and areas of knowledge, we thought, wow, we can offer quite a lot. And being that we know we're passionate about youth, we said, what could we do with the work that we're trying to do? So, as I said, long story short, we kind of applied for a couple of funding bids. We've been successful with a couple. And I'm very glad to say, in the space of about a year, what we've achieved, I think some people who have probably been around 10 times longer than we have ever. And it's always been down to like minds, and I would say that probably applies to everybody here. Carolyn knows, because from day one I met Carolyn, and I knew of Carolyn, and I used to call her Empress because I get that energy from all the time. I've seen her in multiple group chats. I love the kind of things she posts. I love her opinions and the way she talks. Last time I actually met her in a networking event, I bombed straight towards her, and straight away, like you guys will probably know Carolyn, what she's like. You're so and so, you do this. Meet so and so, they do that, and it was that kind of thing. That's why I said I was always going to come to this event from when she invited me. So yeah, really, really happy to be here. Really happy to meet some of you guys, or all of you, should I say? And I hope this is not the last time we speak, or we meet each other, or we engage and work together. I would really strongly encourage that we always open the doors to each other. As I said, community is key. I mean, for me, I was never going to turn down the invitation to something that's got the word cooperative in it, because I believe in that so strongly. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but at some point we'll need each other. And also we inspire each other. Sometimes just through casual conversation about what some of you guys do, I've realized there's things I want to take back to my team and say, can we look into doing something like this? So for example, I've met a lady, I forget your name and I'm sure I'll catch it again. Bumi, that's it. Auntie Bumi there talked to me about law. Now, again, current narratives around our young people, I'd love for them to have a little bit better understanding about law and how to engage with the authorities and each other. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be some synergy there at some point when we do some other work. The focus that we've had of late, or this year, what we've done with some of the kids we've been working with, it's been around entrepreneurship. So we've run a couple workshops already for 16 to 24-year-olds, Pan-London children. This is not funded, this is all done off our own back. We do it in two sessions, part 1 and part 2. We've done the part 1 last month and we're doing the part 2 this month. It was so successful. When I said to the kids, we're thinking of running them quarterly and they were like, what's quarterly, 3 months? No. We need this every fortnight. And I couldn't believe it, because we advertised it as only a 3-hour process and we broke it down to try and make it fit within 3 hours. And those kids stayed with us from 3 p.m. And funny enough, they were actually better timekeepers than some of the people here today. They turned up on time. And they were there from 3 till 7, 8. There was a few already making excuses. Oh, I have to go and meet so-and-so. I have to go and meet so-and-so. When they first came, they're like, how long is this thing going to be? Because I have to do this, I have to do that. And I kid you not a single one of them left that room. And we're in bright summer. They were still there till it started turning dark. And we know how late that it takes in summer. So it was really, really good. I mean, we weren't sure. I was slightly emotional because I was wondering, was our delivery as good as it seemed? And it clearly must have been, because those kids were begging us. Now, I always feature at least 2 entrepreneurs or 2 business-minded people. Anybody from this group is just as welcome to attend, to be there as sort of real-life entrepreneurs to support those children and do some question and answers. And the 2 people that we had, one's doing an event called Black Awards, Bright Lights Awards Ceremony, and another is a radio host who we'd featured on her radio program to promote the workshops. So she attended, and straight away, one thing I must say, always believe in our youth. They are not the sum of what we hear about them.
Yes.
I am so passionate about that, and I have that argument with everyone that engages me in that conversation about serious youth violence, that is a small minority, in no way representative of our youth, okay? And that is something I'm passionate about. And when I've done the workshops and the engagement I've had with some of the youth, what you realize is there is a bank and wealth of their talent and knowledge that's going astray that we're not utilizing. So many of those kids, when we talked about what we do and what some of the partners who came and visited do, we're so keen to get involved. It was a way in for a lot of them. Just literally last week, I was, whilst doing my 9 to 5, on the way to a meeting which got cancelled en route. So I had to get off because the bus was on a one-way route, so I had to walk all the way back down. And I thought I might as well get some breakfast. And I popped into a local cafe. And I think the kids are all on like breaks right now because of half term or whatever. And I saw 4 youth that most of us would cross the road to get away from, because they had that stereotypical look. Woolies in 60 degrees heat, 2-3 tracksuits, do you know what I mean? Sitting in the corner of a cafe, all in their phones, chatting with a whole lot of street language and whatnot. And something told me, I'm not afraid of my own kids. These are my youngest, these are my younger brothers, these are my younger nephews, these are my kids. I will not turn my back on them, because let's be real, we're all affected by it. We as well, our heart beats a bit faster sometimes when we're around them, because we feel like they're unpredictable. But for a split second, I just reminded myself, that's my younger brother.
Yes.
I have to think about them like I know them. And you know, it's so funny, because the love that comes from you for these young people, you realize, wow, I genuinely care for them.
Yes.
And you know, straight away, I just fell into conversation with them, straight away. And the thing is, it was so easy, there was no suspicion even from their part to me. It's like, they looked up to me as an elder.
Yes.
And just as a side digression, the exact same thing happened to me the other day in East London. I'm coming from work, and I walk past a youth on one of those push bikes. He looks like he just picked up the bike randomly. I know, because these are my preconceptions too. And in the area of town that I'm in, I know there's bad kids there. And he looks exactly like one of them. He had his headphones in and he had a hood up. And we both bumped into each other on a narrow alleyway path as I was cutting through. And I'm always warned about going past that piece, because they catch up with each other around there. As I'm walking past, now, we always say we don't crack, right? So we never believe our own age. When I heard the kid goes to me, "You're right, uncle." I was like, for a split second I was back, because I know I don't look my age, number one, yeah? And you don't expect that of these kids. So I looked over my shoulder, and he looked back at me like he's expecting something. So I was like, "Oh, sorry, you're on the phone?" Because he had his AirPod in. He goes, no, I'm talking to you, big man. Like, I just like keeping it real and being respectful to my elders. "Yes, uncle." And he said it again. I was like, no, on the road. I love that.
Yeah.
Keep that up. And you know, we have to foster that. We have to remind them that we are those uncles. We are the elders. And we have to engage with them on that level, like be real with them. Just like, and I feel like they are screaming for us to be those elders, guidance, all of that for them, and mentors. So let's not ever turn it down. It can happen so easily. Yeah. So like I said, when I was back in that cafe with those 4 boys, they all signed up. And what I loved about it was the way they challenged me. They challenged me like crazy, and I couldn't be scared of it. I gave them our little flyers, I told them a little bit about what we do, and straight away to them, "Oh, big man, I just come out of the bin. I'm looking for electrical apprenticeship. Can you help me out with that?" "Yep, me as well. I want to do this electrical apprenticeship course." That excited me, that inspired me, because I felt like I'm out for you guys. Like that, I'm not thinking about any programs or courses I'm running. I'm dealing with them all individually as if I know them personally. I had another one, he was texting me from day one. He goes, "Don't let me down, you know, big man, because I'm onto you. I'm onto you." And he has been. He's been ringing me every day. "What's going on for this apprenticeship? Can you get me involved in this apprenticeship?" So I love that. And I think we need to believe and remember that our young kids want us and they need us. Let's not follow and believe that narrative that's out there, because we're from within. If we turn our backs on them, or we fall into that trap of believing those lies about them, then we have lost and we don't have a future. They are our future, we need to support them, and we need to work as hard as we can and remember why we're here. So for me, thank you again, Carolyn, and Tank720, and all the rest of you. Let's see how we can work together and provide that future for our youth. All right?
Yes.
Thank
Information, details.
I hope you're going to share this with everyone after, but definitely, yes, I'll send out our information. But if anyone's filming and you want to catch it now, we're on Instagram as skillsdevelopmenttraining.org. Same online as well. It's just www.skillsdevelopmenttraining.org. You can get everything you need on there. We also have an app. Encourage all your young people to register. We will get in touch with them straight after and find out what their needs are. We're generally around in East London, in Shadwell, every Sunday, every fortnight. We're working with a program called Infinite Path that we've just written for young people to help them into employment and education. That's our key focus. However, we look to work with other partnership organizations to signpost and provide better intervention. All right? Yeah. So anything you guys need, Carolyn will share my number. I am in the think tank group as well. Anybody needs me for anything, give me a shout. As I said, I'll pass on my details and hopefully everyone will have access to it.
Yep.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ade, thank you so much. That was just wonderful to hear. I would like, again, we're going to run the program really, really fast, and because again we started quite late. So I would like to invite Boykano Trust. She is a lifestyle coach. She's going to be sharing some information with us. Thank you.
Great. Is the presenter ready?
No.
Oh, okay.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Nice to see you all. My name is Karen Gail Kirk, and I'm here in, well, thank you very much for having me firstly, because I've never heard of the think tank before. So basically, I'd be, I'm very honoured to be here. So I'm a family lawyer. I'm speaking to you today on behalf of KB Solicitors. I'm specifically trained in dealing with public and private children law matters. Okay, so, and also I deal with emergency injunctive relief. I'm very concerned at the moment with the impact of LASPO. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's the Legal Aid Sentencing and Punishment of Offenders Act. It came in some time ago and it's been having some very devastating consequences in relation to all areas of law, but in particular family law. So it's had a very big impact. When it comes to public law matters, which is when the state intervenes in relation with children and matters that concern abuse or neglect, basically there is public law funding for that. There is legal aid available for that. However, more and more we're seeing parents that have gone through the process of having care proceedings and they've not been properly advised, not at all. So all too often we see parents ending up with orders, care orders or special guardianship orders that they didn't really want and that they don't really understand. Okay, so obviously there are options that they've never been told about, and they've got options that are available to them throughout the running of the 26 weeks that is now a guidance that the case must begin and end within 26 weeks. But the case does go on and on, longer than that at times. But options that are available to them, such as putting alternative carers forward, like family members and friends, which sometimes they're getting to see this far too late, and then the case is, they're not allowed to put these people forward. So obviously, we do need to speak about this in relation to our communities. A lot of, not so long ago, we had a lot of children just getting into the care system because the parents didn't understand how to work with the local authority. The local authority are suspicious of parents that chastise their children. It's not against the law here in the UK, but it is misunderstood at the level, just the chastisement issue. The other day I was speaking to a barrister, and basically she was saying that the local authority was suspicious because the child washed her own underwear out. And like in our communities, we wash our underwear out if we stay somewhere. So things like this, we do need to have a conversation about. But anyway, I'm not going to take up too much of your time because I'm not sure how, I know that the programme's running slightly behind, but we would love to talk to anyone going through the PLO process, which is a public law outline process. Anyone where the local authority is interested in speaking to them, it's good for sometimes a solicitor to go and be with them whilst they're talking with the local authority before they're contemplating making any sort of court process. So we'd love to speak to anyone that's going through the care proceedings at the moment, just to make sure that they're getting advice or whether or not we can advise them. We're also can advise if the person's already been through the process, but there's a change of circumstances and they can actually get their orders discharged. Okay, so just to conclude, we are K&B co-solicitors, and we're able to offer advice or speak to anyone in relation to this. We're here today anyway. So K&B also advise on many different areas, and they're all here, and that's the contact details. And Anthony Bummy is the person that is the proud person that owns this establishment. So thank you very much for your time. Okay. Thank you.
So thank you again. And now I'm going to be having Dr. Mary, who is an author, and we're really happy to have you here today. If you come and give us a few words. Thank you.
I just want to thank the Psychological Think Tank and Caroline really for inviting me today to come and talk. So I'm not an author, I'm a medically trained doctor. I trained at St. George's. I've been a doctor for 15 years now and have moved into the private sector. So I do cosmetic work and I do weight loss management as well privately. Just better for me from a work-life balance point of view. So I met Caroline a couple of years ago. There's a charity that we set up as East African healthcare professionals, and really just trying to give back and also support healthcare, sort of peer-to-peer networking, a lot of it. We've moved into outreach really in terms of supporting the community with lifestyle advice. So for example, in our community, high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, presenting to the doctor, we're always late presenters. And if we have, if you have high blood pressure, then, we'll need 2 or 3 medications, or, so it's been a kind of an altruistic thing that's kind of complementing my private work because I no longer see people, but I do miss patients, kind of outpatient contact from the NHS. So that's worked really well, and kind of following on from that, just really connected with Caroline as, she's so kind of very bubbly and engaging, so she's a great connector. And we kept in touch. And I guess standing in front of you, I'm not really going to talk about my kind of cosmetic one. I think I just wanted to encourage people here to really, first of all, we live in the United Kingdom, which still has an amazing great healthcare system, although we complain about waiting and things like that. It's access to healthcare, regardless of your income, and I think that's still a great privilege to have. In many countries, if you go around the world, you're not able to have that. So I think one of the things we have to do is really kind of cherish and reflect on that. So on average, your entitlement in terms of medical care is about £3,500 every year. Wow. So if you're not going to your doctor, you're missing out about £3,500 of So I would advise you at least, have a GP check up once every 2 years or once a year, every year, and really just get on board with the programs that are available, like the screening programs. Okay, there might be a bit of controversy around vaccinations, but it's still an amazing thing to have and protect our children. Again, so if we're at risk, we're high risk of diabetes, high blood pressure, and although you might not have symptoms, the body is amazing because it will cope with a lot, and then it will start kind of feeling the pressure. So I'd really just encourage you, and encourage families and friends. And then the other thing is that because we come from a diaspora community, we're always giving back home. But we also have to kind of think about our health as well, our health and our physical health as well. Because I think what we see when we go to the outreach programs is that people are busy looking after others and they forget to look after themselves. So that's what I really wanted to stress today, is that look after yourself and encourage others to do so as well, because you do have we're still at a place where we're able to access them. So it's been amazing kind of being part of this team and kind of connecting with people and just meeting. Like sometimes I see faces I haven't spoken to, so I need to kind of connect with other people. And it's always an inspiration to hear what people are doing. So the other thing that I've kind of picked up a bit more now is, for example, just supporting our kids, like Adi was saying, around kind of inspiring them. So I was in Nunhead 2 days ago. My friend's a business manager at school there, and just come along, just talk to the kids about what it's like to be a doctor, how it takes to train. And it's amazing, 13 or 14 years. Some of them work up here. How they're only 13 or 14. So I think Adi's right. When we're walking, down the street, and we kind of hold our breath and just we're kind of a bit nervous sometimes. I think we do have to remember that it takes a village to raise a child, and they're all part of our children as well. So it's an amazing evening. And if you know kind of schools that kind of have careers days or just want different professions, we've had lots of different professions there. So and I know I also have lots of friends who are doctors. So if you ever kind of wanted to reach out for us to do that, we're more than happy to do that as well. It's something to give back.
Thank you, Dr. Mary. So now I will invite Mr. Paul Mohammed, who is the CEO of Money Mob, to come and